Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You are tuning in to the sixth edition of Engineer Power Talk, brought to you by Engineer 2021. I am Lillian and your host for this session. I know it's been a busy week now that most of the industries have reopened, and at this hour, I want to congratulate you for being here, and we believe that there's no other better time than now to share on monetizing energy efficiency and renewable energy. Speaking of a busy week, I would like to ask all of you a quick yes or no question. So if your answer is yes, type Y in the comment section, or no, then type Y, then type N at the comment section. All right, how many of you present here today have already started reporting back to the office? Type Y for yes or N for no. Personally, I think we have already started gradually coming back in groups. Traffic in the morning is already building up more and more. So really do miss the traffic during MCO though, since going everywhere is quite a breeze, especially doing groceries. So now, ladies and gentlemen, the question that I'm asking here is if you've started reporting back to the office, type Y for yes and N for no. Okay, I've seen some of your answers already. That very good. Thank you so much. It's so nice to see all of you online actually. Yeah, it's good that some of you are still working from home. Very good. We are still the count is still a little bit on the high. So yeah, it's good to work from home as well. So some of us have already started coming back to the office, which is also really refreshing. Thank you so much for interacting with me on the chat platform. It's really refreshing also to meet people on this platform. This Power Talk is brought to you by Engineer 2021, which is Malaysia's first engineering exhibition and convention, scheduled to take place this year from 1st to 4th December at Kuala Lumpur Convention Centre. Engineer 2021 is jointly organized by IEM and CIS, and we strive towards becoming the premier business event for the engineering community. We have prepared a short video to show you how you can leverage on this dedicated business event for your business. Let's check it out.
Engineer 2021, an event of IEM Convention, will be the flagship event for the region's engineering professionals and community. It is IEM's hope that this hybrid exhibition platform will complement our role to uplift the industry and to prepare our profession and talents for the future of engineering. Engineer 2021 aims to build on friendships, leverage on partnerships, and forge collaboration for the fraternity as we come together towards recovery from the after effect of the global pandemic. At IEM, we highly welcome our local and international associates and industry friends together and discover the latest technologies, innovation, and solution beyond borders. Together, let us contribute towards the growth and success of Engineer 2021, the engineering gateway to ASEAN.
Yes, we are as excited as you are with Engineer 2021. Be sure to stay on until the end to know how you can be a part of this excitement. All right, back to today's session, ladies and gentlemen. When you stay to the end of this power talk, you will learn how energy efficiency and renewable energy are the future and without a doubt the future in energy consumption and makes a much debated topic not only in Malaysia but also globally. Do note that this session is CPD applicable for all BEM members. Follow the instructions in the comment section and be ready to claim your CPD point. If you have any questions that you would like to direct to the panelists, feel free to type in your question in the comments as well, and we will also attend to them at the end of this session. Our topic for today's Power Talk is monetizing energy efficiency and renewable energy. And we are honored to have three special guests as today's panelists. Here are the speakers for today. Mr. Ahmad Shadzli, Managing Director of Intelligent Power Systems Technology Sdn Bhd. Mr. Michael Leong, Managing Director and Founder of Terra VA Sdn Bhd. Ms. Akmal Zaiti, Yahya, Deputy Director of Energy Analyst, Strategic Planning Division of Sustainable Energy Development Authority or SEDA, Malaysia. Today's session is moderated by Engineer Francis Xavier Jacob, Advisor for Electrical Engineering Technical Division for IEM. Let me share a quick background to introduce our moderator. Engineer Francis was the advisor for Energy Commission. He graduated in 1977 with a Bachelor in Engineering with honours in Electrical Engineering from University Malaya and holds another degree in Environment in 2007. He is a professional engineer registered with the Board of Engineers Malaysia. He has been in the Commission and Department of Electricity and Gas Supply since 1991. He chairs the Technical Committee on the Standards of Energy Management and also sits in various standards working committees. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring in Engineer Francis on screen with me. Good afternoon, Engineer Francis.
Good afternoon, Lillian.
Hi. I'll pass the session over to you.
Hi. Thank you, Lillian, and thank you for the kind introduction. A very good afternoon and warm welcome to everyone to the Engineering Power Talk series. And I'm Engineer Francis Jacob, and I'll be a moderator for today's event. Our topic, as pointed out earlier by Lillian, is monetizing energy efficiency and renewable energy. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the more important reasons to practice energy efficiency and use of renewable energy as far as possible is climate change. As you all may be aware, the use of energy is one of the, if not the most important contributor towards greenhouse gas emissions and the subsequent effect on global warming and climate change. Although energy efficiency and the use of renewable energy has financial returns to encourage its uptake, oftentimes the returns may not be good enough. This then is the reason for today's discussion: how to monetize EE and RE to encourage its uptake. Apart from the project proponents, the government and society in general may have to undertake some efforts to encourage the uptake of energy efficiency and the use of renewable energy, such as by having tax benefits, penalties for not taking it up, or the willingness to pay more for greener energy, etc. I leave it at that for the moment for us to hear from our panelists themselves how they propose to do this. To discuss further on this topic, we are happy to have three invited specialists in this field. As pointed out earlier, they are Encik Ahmad Shadzli, Mr. Michael Leong, and Ms. Akmal Zaiti. Feel free to drop your questions in the comment section. Please say whom is directed to, and we will try our best to answer them before the end of this talk. With that, let me introduce the first panelist for today's session. Mr. Ahmad Shadzli bin Abdul Wahab is an advisor to the Malaysian Photovoltaic Industry Association, or MPIA. He graduated a BSc in Physics degree from King's College, University of London, and has more than 35 years of dedicated experience in the development of solar energy and renewable energy in Malaysia. Between 1982 to 1984, he was the first project manager of Malaysia's first solar PV system for rural electrification program that was sponsored by the Ministry of Energy. In 1985, Mr. Zasli embarked on the design and study of solar trackers for PV concentrators in a project for his postgraduate study. He subsequently graduated with an MSc in Solar Energy degree from University Science Malaysia. Upon completing his thesis on data analysis of solar radiation study for Malaysia's Penang State. Later, he was involved in the monitoring and evaluation on Malaysia's first cogeneration plant, which used rice hulls for power generation. He has also worked as a project manager for Malaysia's first fully automated multiple stations and project manager of Malaysia's wind energy system of 150 kilowatts, meant for electricity generation, and water desalination system for the Royal Malaysian Navy. Ms. Asli was a senior manager and head of Energy Technology Unit of TNRD and is currently the managing director of Intelligent Power System Technology Sendirian Berhad. Without further ado, let me invite Mr. Sazali to join me on screen.
Hello, thank you very much.
Welcome, Mr. Sazali.
Thank you very much, Mr. Francis.
We're all
hello,
excited to
everybody.
hear. We're all excited to hear from you. So the floor is yours now, Mr. Sazali.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Francis. Assalamualaikum and selamat sejahtera to everybody. And thank you very much to the organizer who has invited me for this auspicious occasion. So let me start. I think today I'm very happy that to hear the news of the RMK12, right? That seems to be pro-green technology. So I think we should be able to proceed and to enjoy with the new RMK12, hopefully. So today, I'm going to talk on the how PV, how we monetize our PV system further. So let me start with this graph. This graph is actually the plan the government has for Malaysia for the next almost 20 years, 2021 to 2039. And you can see that there's a big growth there on the right, the red line there and the dotted line there. The dotted line refers to the impact of the RE on our annual energy demand. So we expect by 2039 it will be 23,000 megawatt. So now the challenge is, I find it is a challenge is how could PV, right, slow even more further, right, this growth, so that we can save the country of the cost that are associated with thermal or fossil fuel, right? So is it possible? So I'm proposing that we should go for the mass adoption of solar PV, which means behind the meter. In fact, behind the meter, according to ST definition, is what is called energy efficiency. And next one. I'm very worried looking at this annual system cost that has been incurring in our country. Starting with 2021 there, I think the country is spending around 28 billion. In 20 years' time, it's going to be 52 billion. So who is going to spend this money? So we have to think ways to reduce this annual system cost by trying to reduce generation from fossil fuel and to increase more on the use of the solar PV in particular. Now you can see this a third graph that I'm showing now. You can see that in these coming years, from 2021 up to 2020, I would say 2028, right? You can see that on the green vertical column, it's all green, meaning that the government had committed that the future planting up of new power plant will be based on RE. But look at after 2038, 2039 onwards, you can see surprisingly the return of the fossil fuel in our energy mix scenario, the coming of coal. So it looks like we are not going to avoid coal and gas anytime soon. So is it possible that we can at least reduce this kind of scenario by using PV? I think we can. I will show you. Okay, finally, you can see that by 2039, 47% will come from gas, 22% from coal, and 31% from RE. Even RE also is now has already included major hydro, which to me is distorting, right? Because major hydro means the destruction of forests, right? So I'm not particularly quite happy to include major hydro as RE. Anyhow, so looking at this current scenario and current plan, right, and what we have done and what we are going to do in next 20 years, we can estimate that the future installed capacity of PV, right, will reach about 6,400 megawatt. You can see that currently we have about 1,400 megawatt, and after NEM 3.0, LS 3.0, you're going to add another 1,800 megawatt up to 2023, and then another 1,098 megawatt. This one we're not sure. After 2023, what will happen? Will NEM will continue? Will LS will continue? Or it could be peer-to-peer, P2P, or third-party access, or NEDA, right? So these are question marks. And of course, after 2025, we're going to add about 1,463 megawatt, and of course 600 megawatt in the after 2025. 2035. So all in all, I think we're going to install about 6,400 megawatt. Okay. Now I'm going to share also with you now. You can see the initial impact of the LSS FIT on our national daily load profile. This is given by a single buyer, and you can see that small thin strip, brown in color there. You can see that very small, not really, but it start to appear there, meaning that it start to give impact to our national load profile. This is taken 2019. Now look at recently, right? I took this snapshot from a single buyer web page. You can see there the small trough, almost. You can see the small trough, multiple trough on the very top there. The impact, the increased impact of the solar PV on our national load profile. You can see the orange there is due to coal, and the green gas, and the top blue is a hydro, and the rest it will be on the solar. Sorry. Okay, this is a close up. You can still can see the impact of the solar on our load profile. So coming back to our programs that we have seen now, NEM 3.0, we find that the NOVA has been taken up, except that NEM Rakyat and NEM Government is very slow in taking up. You can see lately that only 15 megawatt has been taken up out of 100 megawatt. So that is very slow of taking of the quota on the residential and government there are reasons for it, and I will share how we could overcome this slow off-taking of the solar among the residential areas. Now, this slide shows that how much potential that we have on rooftop solar. This is a study done by MPIA. You can see 3.2 million residential houses out of 9 million of customers, but this 3.2 million is a land-based building like terrace houses, bungalows, double-story houses, for example. And you have about 500,000 of shop houses and factories. You can see millions. Yeah. Now, from residential point of view, only 10,000 to 15,000 houses are only equipped with a rooftop solar. This is very, very low compared with our to Australia, for example, where they still where they have about almost 1 million houses being equipped with rooftop, and we literally using less than 1% of our rooftop. So the potential is huge for everybody to participate. And in the study done by SEDA, you can see that the potential of rooftop solar nationwide, Sabah and Sarawak included, is about 42,000 megawatt. It's huge. And how come we are not progressing very fast towards that? So I will share some of the factors that we can handle this issue. So 42,000 megawatt, right? Now, if you multiply by 3 hours a day, right? So you can generate around 112,000 megawatt hour a day. Currently, I think we generate about 340,000 megawatt hour a day today, right? Now you can see here, in a day, on average, our fossil fuel is generating about 350, 360 gigawatt hour a day, all right? Now, to answer the call for why slow off-taking of solar quota among the residential sectors, in 2020 or 2019, I think, 2020, we proposed to government the program called Merakyatkan Teknologi Hijau, right? Where we are proposing 1 million rooftop until 2030. Okay. We are targeting N40, B40, and T20. And this is in line with our shared prosperity program that was launched in 2018 by the government before. And we also propose some of the incentives. For example, for M40, we give the 100% loan, right? And also subsidy. And also B40, interest-free loan. And for T20, tax rebate, right? So tax rebate. But to do that, the government need to allocate some loan portfolio. So we are proposing to the government through Bank Negara to allocate to about 1 or 2% of the loan portfolio which the BNN has been issuing every year, right? Which is about 60 billion. So, every year, Bank Negara approve about 30 billion of loans to the businessmen, to SMEs, to housing, to car loan. So what we are proposing is that the government should allocate 1 or 2% as a green loan, right? Especially to the residential sectors, because as far as commercial industrial sector is concerned, the government had already given a lot of incentives, right? Government investment tax allowance, and then you have a green technology fund scheme, GTFS, which have benefited hundreds of companies. But as far as residential sector is concerned, none was given. So this, I would say, the most glaring, shortcoming in our existing program. And in fact, if this 1 million rooftop is really taking off, we expect our load profile to look something like this, right? Where the maximum demand is now almost flattened, where you can literally shut down this open cycle gas turbine and save the use of gas. And we also did the economic study impact of this program. In fact, we were telling the government that, while we were asking some SST wave, tax wave, right, the government will lose some 2.94 billion, right, in terms of collecting tax and guitar. But on the other hand, the government gained 4.2 billion out of personal tax because of job creation, because of corporate tax, right? So we indeed sent this memorandum to the government in 2020, but we still have yet to get the official response from the government on this proposal. So we are taking action to ensure that all segments of societies are gaining, having the benefits of the solar energy. Okay, what's next after 2023? So there are a few options. Option one, peer-to-peer, as I said earlier on, P2P, and third-party access. And of course, option two, mass adoption with battery storage under Celco. Why under Celco? To me, Celco is the easiest and less troublesome because it does not interfere, I would say, directly with the interconnection problem or issues related to ST and TMB. Right? It's just that you just put your solar system on your rooftop, you self-generate, and you consume it entirely without exporting. So to me, this is the most easiest and practical that the government should encourage now. Right? Celco. And one of the reasons also that why battery storage? Battery storage is just like a fridge. In those days, we cook and we eat, we consume. The excess, we throw away. But now, to save the excess, we store it in the fridge. Similarly, battery storage. Those days, we use lighting without any day and then. But now, because of the solar, there's always some excess. And now that we cannot go and sell to the MB, so we have no choice but to store it. And also, looking long term, we all realize that under NEM 3.0, under NEM 3.0, we are allowed only to sell electricity only up to 10 years. So after 10 years, we have to switch back to Celco. Okay? So indeed, in the coming decades, I think we have no choice that we have to go for self-consumption. And of course, with battery storage, there are many benefits. One is reducing peak load, reducing peak energy, improving quality power, frequency control. So the benefit is a lot. So let me share you this slide. We give some indication of how much the cost to own a battery, solar with a battery system. So with those consumers having monthly bills of more than 1,000 ringgit, with the highest tier tariff of 57 cents per kilowatt hour, we suggest to have a 12 kilowatt capacity of solar and about 20 kilowatt hour of battery storage at 48 volts. And we calculate based on the current cost, 5 ringgit 80 cents. But this is based on the normal lead acid batteries, maintenance-free battery that will last maybe only for 5 years. Yes, 5,800 ringgit per kilowatt. All right. Now, if you are going to use lithium ion, it's going to cost about maybe 7 ringgit more. Right, and using this normal lead acid and maintenance-free, the payback is about 8-9 years. For me, it's quite reasonable. But for those who are going to use lithium ion, right, it's going to take much longer, 12 to 13 years. For example, the 3 kilowatt system with 4.8 kilowatt hour battery storage the cost will be about 7,000 per kilowatt, or 21,000 ringgit, and the payback is 12, 13 years. So maybe some of the customers have extra cash, they might opt for this. So I think we can start now. Similarly, that when the government launched Surya 1000, at that time, I think 1 kilowatt about 20,000 ringgit. There are quite a number of customers who are willing to pay that much, right? So similarly now, if you have extra cash, maybe they want to invest in battery storage. So assuming that the government allow this Celco using battery storage to start with 1 million houses, on average 3 kilowatt. So you're going to have capacity of 3 gigawatt. All right. Total investment between 12 to 15 billion and 60,000 ringgit. Now you can see that total investment 12, 15 billion. For me, this is going to be invested by private. Nothing to do with government. So this is why I said, if you invest in solar, it will help the government reduce the burden. All right. Okay. I think time is coming to close, but I have a few more slides. You can see that in Australia, about 1 million houses have been installed with solar. Some states have about 90 or 100% RE penetration. Also in Thailand, right? Also embark on very aggressive policy on rooftop. So my concluding remark is this, right? Monetizing RE and EE will reduce financial burden on utilities and government and investing in future needs of additional central power plants and upgrading of electrical infra. So when you have a lot of solar, you may delay the upgrading of electrical infra. You can, earlier on I said a few 20 billion is going to be spent annually on power system, right? So by investing in solar, which give the citizenship to invest, it reduce the government spending on this. And also it strengthens the electricity supply networks, and of course it will create a lot of jobs. And also monetizing RE, this program, rooftop, also is in line with the smart grid programs, MESI 2.0 that's been launched by Qatar, energy transition program, which has been a talking point nowadays. And of course, we reduce the dependence on gas and coal, improving energy security issues, and of course, the Malaysia grid of the future. So for me, this program, solar rooftop, would be very attractive for us to embark on. So finally, let's change the world. Use renewable energy. And remember, when the sun shines, let it shine on everybody, not only few people. Thank you. Okay, now I will pass over my session back to Francis. Francis? Over to you, Francis.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shazli. I think we're facing a little bit of technical issues with Engineer Francis' side. Thank you so much, Mr. Shazli. That was an insightful sharing. Mr. Shazli, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, right. I thought you can't hear me too. It's okay. Thank you so much. We'll move on to the
Thank you.
second. We'll move on to the next panelist, if in that sense. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, our next panelist is Mr. Michael Leong. Renewable, this is his bio. Renewable solar energy is his passion since he was at a young age. He pursued in an electrical engineering course and majored within the energy industry sector and was employed in multinational companies since he graduated. He then discovered his passion unintentionally when he was involved within the energy generation site. Ironically, as he was involved within the power generation side, he was thinking of a cleaner way to generate environmental friendly energy. It has been more than 10 years since he ventured into the solar business and founded Terra VA, Sendirian Berhad. With that, let me bring Mr. Michael on screen with me. Hi, Mr. Michael.
Hello, good afternoon, Lillian. Right?
Hi. It's good to have you
Yeah,
with us. I'll pass the session over to you.
Okay, sure, no problem. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, this Engineer Power Talks, for giving me an opportunity to share what I love to do on this platform. Right. So here is my this presentation slide. So I'll move on to the first slide now. The first and the foremost that I want to share with everybody is this ESG, right? The topic of ESG, environment, social, and corporate governance. So now, what does this ESG going to do with everybody? Now, if you look at what has happened in the world in the past, right? Everyone have been running into oil and gas industry. So now, everything that we can find in oil and gas is some material, some raw material that we extract it out for burning, right? Through burning, of course, that directly the byproduct that released from that will be CO2 and also this GHG, greenhouse gases, right? So you look at the world nowadays, all the fund house in the whole world, we are talking about ESG nowadays. So we understand that all the fund houses, all the economies, they understand that when we continue to do that, we continue to burn, this fossil fuel, be it coal-fired power plant or this gas-fired power plant. As long as we are burning something and then we release the GHG, we release this CO2 to the environment, we are actually damaging the environment. No matter how good you are in doing business, right? All you need is just one natural disaster. It will wipe off everything that we have been working for. Therefore, that the world have understand. The economies have understand that we need to look into the environment now. We've been exploiting our environment too much. And then the natural disasters that caused by the climate change come after Earth, right? No matter how good you are in doing your business, how strong your business is, it doesn't matter anymore when the natural disaster come. So now you can look into what this even in Malaysia now. You can look into what KWSP has been talking about, right? Going into this KWSP basically is like a fund that used to invest into those public listed counters. So only those counters, those companies, PLCs that actually exercise ESG, right? Where we look into environment, we want to have a cleaner and greener environment for our next generation, so that we can be more sustainable in our this country environment. So, and when we talk about social means that we all have this clean place to work with, right? And also the other thing is corporate governance. Corporate governance in terms of energy that we're talking about is pretty much about, you see, one thing, if let's say tomorrow Suran Jayatanagar will want to issue a memo and say that, oh, electricity costs will rise by 20%. Well, do we have any other alternative not to buy energy from TNB? Answer is no. We will need to pay as per what has been announced. So through renewable energy, through your own generation, through distribution generation, you are able to generate your own electricity, where that portion of energy that you generate for your own consumption will no longer subject to all these future price increase on your energy costs, right? So this is part of the governance in doing business. You need to be in control with your company. You need to be in control with your business. So one thing that you are not in control, which is the energy cost. With this distributed generation or the solar generation, right? And the bare minimum through that energy that is able to generate it by your this plant, you are actually not subjected to the future price increase. In another way, you are actually, through distributed generation, through renewable energy, through solar, you are hedging the future energy cost, right? So that is where this KWSP, we also understand, right? If let's say you can't control the energy cost, so basically that when the price increase set in, you will see the fluctuation in all the prices and all this thing, which is not what people like to see, right? Next. So this is the environment, social, and the corporate governance I explained just now. So I'll move on to the next is you're also able to enjoy corporate tax benefit from the solar system itself, right? So as have announced by the government on the this green investment tax allowance, in short we call it GITA, where you need to apply through this MIDA, Malaysia Investment Development Authority, right? So you can actually enjoy tax benefit. Now, what kind of tax benefit you can enjoy? Actually, you can enjoy two. One I have mentioned just now is GITA. The other one is actually this capital allowance. Capital allowance is a mechanism that you can enjoy without applying to any body. It's already within the existing taxation system under IRB. So that means that this is like buying a car. Ladies and gentlemen out there, all our audience there, when your company make money, so one of the thing that you buy is always cars, right? At least the directors are going to have a new series of cars first. Because why? When you buy car through companies, you are able to enjoy capital allowance. But the difference with solar is you are able to enjoy 100% of that asset value. For example, if let's say you invest into solar, let's say that system is 10 million ringgit for that solar system, you can actually enjoy capital allowance up to 10 million of that asset value, because the solar system is categorized as asset by itself, right? You can enjoy up to 10 million. When it comes to this green investment tax allowance, you are also able to enjoy 10 million values of this tax allowance, right? So this is a illustration of how taxation works, right? So now, again, that you guys which are doing business out there, I guess that you should know how tax operate in this country here, yeah. So if let's say you already know it, please bear with me. Let me explain to you how does this solar asset can benefit you. First, when you run through your business, you have a sales that you have, then you generate into this revenue. Then revenue, you have to minus off your cost of goods sold. Therefore, that you got your gross profit, the GP. In short, we call it GP. After minusing all your expenses, for example, your rental, your water supply bill, your TMB bill, and then your payroll bills, all this and that. So you got your net profit. Net profit is also known as earning before income tax, or Malaysia is more known as profit before taxation, PBT. Right, so through adjustment, you'll be getting your adjusted income. So from the adjusted income, first you will be able to minus the capital allowance out first. Well, capital allowance, comparing to cars, is different. Yeah, car, if let's say you exit 150,000 of the value, you only can claim 50,000. But for solar, you can claim up to 100%. 100%. That means that if let's say your asset is a 10 million ringgit asset, solar asset, you can actually claim 10 million for it. But you have to split into 6 years time. 6 years time. Now, year number one, split into IA and AA, called the initial this allowance, and also the this asset allowance, right, is 20% plus 14%. Year one, you can claim a total of 34%. The subsequent 4 years, you can claim 14% each year, and final year number 6, you can claim 10%, right? So this is how that you use this capital allowance across 6 years time to reduce your tax paying. Now, after you minus off your capital allowance, the terminology is called statutory income. 70% of your statutory income can be used to offset the GITA. Now, let's say your this asset is a 10 million asset, right? A 10 million solar asset. Then you can, if let's say your 70% of the statutory income, you can use to offset that 10 million. So therefore, that you come to your chargeable income. So of course, in Malaysia here, if let's say you are SME category means that your pay up capital is 2.5 million and below, and then you're doing 50 million of this revenue and below, you're considered SME. SME first 500,000 of your chargeable income is 17% tax payable to IRB, and anything that more than 500,000, oh sorry, this one is actually 01. Last year have already adjusted to 600,000 already, because COVID, right? So above 600,000, your this chargeable income is actually 24%. But if let's say you're a corporate company or you're a business company, right, that means that you are more than this 2.5 million pay up capital. At the same time, your revenue is more than 50 million, or you have this public listed company as your shareholding, as your shareholders more than this 50%. Then you are 24% all the way, even for the first 600,000. Okay, so now from this slide here, I'm trying to explain to you that how this taxation work. Right now, the next slide is I want to show you the example. Right, let's say this is a 1 million asset, solar asset, 1 million asset. Now you see, I put up here the simulation here, with and without. Okay, with and without. So let's say that your earning before income tax, your EBIT, or the profit before tax, right, is 3 million ringgit. So then you see that 3 million over here, right? You see this 3 million over here. Then through adjustment, says you buy a flight ticket and go to Italy with your wife and children. You cannot claim from company. You have to add back, called adjustment. So adjusted 100,000. So then your adjusted income is actually 3.1 million. So until this stage over here, then with and without, right, is the same. With and without is the same. Okay. Now then the first is with solar system, you can first minus off 34%. 1 million of this project cost, you can actually minus out this 340,000. 340,000 is actually 34% of 1 million, right? First, you minus this 340,000. If let's say you do not have any investment on this solar, you minus nothing from here, right? Probably you invest in a car, actually it incurred you more fuel costs, by the way, okay, and maintenance costs. Okay. Then your statutory income is becoming 2.76 million. 2.76 million, and then you see at this point over here, statutory income is 2.76 million, but without solar system is still the same 3.1 million. Okay, so 70% of this 2.6 million definitely is going to be more than 1 million, isn't it? Right? So you can claim 1 million on your GIDA grid investment tax allowance, right, from your taxation system. After minusing off this 1 million, your chargeable income is only come to 1.76 million. Now look, beside you, without the solar investment is 3.1 million. With the solar system is only 1.76 million. If I say your this chargeable income is 3.1 million without the solar asset, the total tax you have to pay for that year is actually 709,000. While with the solar system, you only required to pay 387,400 ringgit only. You see, it's almost like half of the tax paying has been saved out through investing in solar. On top of that, not forgetting to mention is you also have this electrical bill saving also. Let's say 1 million worth of this project is coming about approximately 400 kilowatt of the capacity. 400 kilowatt of capacity, you can save almost like nearly 20,000 of this electricity a month. So 1 year is 240,000. See, when through saving electricity and the tax saving, it actually brings a lot of benefit to companies. So if let's say you are whether you are the high consuming consumer for electricity, a factory, or you are this medium sized consumer, or you are a small sized consumer, it don't matter. As long as you invest in solar, you are actually generating your own electricity, right? Like what my colleague previously, Injay Sazli, have shared with you. Let's say you're doing with the batteries, right? You can store battery during the daytime, and then at nighttime discharge out for your usage. All these things benefits you, because why? Your rooftop currently, it is just only a rooftop, right? If let's say you can turn your rooftop you can monetize your rooftop, turn it into a generator machine, right, to generate electricity. I'm sure, it will bring benefit to you in any way, right? First, it will reduce your electricity bill. Secondly, paying company tax is also like PCB, our individual PCB, we have to pay monthly one. So through saving electricity and saving tax paying per month, you actually gain more cash flow, right? In running a business company, cash flow is everything, right? So through cash flow, you will achieve your unique business competitiveness, and that is where solar can do for you. With that, that is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share my thought with every one of you. Thank you. Back to you, Francis. Back to you, Francis or Lillian.
Okay. Thank you, Michael, for the very insightful sharing. You talk on the effect of energy on the environment, the greenhouse gas emissions, some of the tax benefits gained by government to the corporate sector, and even you went to details of how to calculate these tax benefits. I think very useful for our participants. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Most welcome,
Okay.
Engineer Francis.
Okay. Okay, we now go to our next panelist. Our next panelist is Ms. Akmal Zaiti. She is currently the Deputy Director and Energy Analyst of SEDA Malaysia, Sustainable Energy Development Authority. Her role involves advising on areas to facilitate the growth of Malaysia's sustainable energy industry. Upon completion of undergraduate studies, she served TNB Research Sdn Bhd as a researcher with a high voltage diagnostic cable unit before continuing her career with the Malaysia Nuclear Power Corporation. Prior to her present portfolio, she was a key component of a multidisciplinary team that successfully completed a comprehensive nuclear energy project development study for Malaysia. She is actively playing a role as a subject matter expert and trainer in nuclear energy and sustainable energy at domestic and international platforms. With that, let me bring Ms. Akmal, onto the screen with me.
Hi, Engineer Francis. How are you?
Welcome, Ms. Akmal. We are fine. We are happy to hear from you on today's topic, and the floor is yours,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Akmal.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Engineer Francis, for the kind introduction just now. And dear speakers, Cik Muhammad Shazli, Mr. Michael, and ladies and gentlemen, my name is Akmal Yahya. And first and foremost, on behalf of SEDA Malaysia, I would like to thank IEM for inviting us to participate in this Engineer Power Talk today. And before I proceed with my presentation, I will give a brief introduction of SEDA Malaysia, in case some of you are not so familiar with us and on what we do. So SEDA Malaysia is a statutory body reporting to Ministry of Energy and Natural Resources, also known as SCETSA. And it was established in September 2011 under the SEDA Act with a key purpose of driving the renewable energy and energy efficiency agenda in the country. And for information, SEDA Malaysia is celebrating its 10 years anniversary this year, particularly this month, September. So happy birthday, SEDA. So moving on to my presentation, I will talk about the Malaysia RE scenario. So if you look at this slide, this on your screen. So if SEDA Malaysia, if I mentioned just now, SEDA Malaysia celebrate its 10th anniversary. Renewable energy industry in Malaysia already embarking its 20th year of journey in Malaysia. So starting from 2001, where we have introduced a small renewable energy power, or in short we call it SREP program, where under this program it is mainly focusing only on two resources, which is bioenergy and also the hydro. So this initiative basically aiming to have a 500 megawatt by the end of 2010. But however, due to issues pertaining financing and also the RE fuel supply itself, by the end of 2010, the program only realized about 60 megawatt of RE capacity. So lesson learned from that STRAP program, the ministries alongside with stakeholders, regulators and also utilities, we are formulating the feed-in tariff mechanism with the establishment of the RE Act 2011, which is into the introduction of feed mechanism, and SEDA is also established to drive this initiative. And I would say after 5 years of the implementing of feed-in tariff mechanism, we can see that this is actually a good take-up, that we can see that a lot of deployment of solar project, and not only a solar project but also aside from solar, there are also deployment of biomass, biogas and also small hydro. So moving on to the 2016, we are able to realize roughly about 60,000 megawatt, which is 6 gigawatt of RE capacity, including the deployment of the large hydro project. So looking at this good take-up, I would say this is a good response from the market. The ministry and regulators are formulating for other new RE program, namely the large scale solar, which is right now it is LSS 4.0. And then the net energy metering, NEM 3.0, and also the self-consumption, SELCO, which is to promote the solar industry with exact particular framework. And as of December 2020, we have realized about 22 to 24% of national energy mix coming from the RE resources, cumulative capacity of 8 gigawatt. So I would say that this is quite a tremendous growth that we can see from here. If we compare to the end of the 2010, where renewables contribute less than 1% of capacity mix. So moving forward, Malaysia has set, like what the first speaker said just now, Malaysia has set the commitment towards enhancing the penetration of renewable in our capacity mix, and we are aiming to achieve about 31% by the year 2025 and 40% by 40% by 2035. And looking from where we are today, we can see that it is actually, we anticipate that they are double of the capacity to be introduced is in the next 15 years. But please bear in mind, as much as renewable energy has more potential to be deployed, a progressive but I would say a cautious measure is deemed necessary to strike a good balance between the elements in energy trilemma, which is the environment, the affordability, and also the system stability due its intermittent nature of the system, and also the limitation of the grid itself, which is the 24% of penetration of variable RE to the grid system. So moving on to the next slide. So this is among initiatives that are already in place. It is the efforts of SEDA Malaysia alongside with the ministry, regulators and utilities towards decarbonizing the power sector. So as I mentioned, on where we are today, this is supported by these four main perspectives, which is renewable energy, energy efficiency, low carbon cities, and also the training. So when we are talking about the sustainable energy itself, it is always coming from the two sides of a coin, which is the supply side and also the demand side. So when we talk about the supply side, we are actually talking about the generation source. As all of us know that currently we are heavily relying on fossil fuels, but as time goes by, we are trying to include more renewables or sustainable energy in this capacity mix. And for the demand side, the energy conservation and also energy efficiency is the key to the sustainability. So as mentioned just now, if I may touch a brief on each perspective, looking at the renewable energy, there are four main programs toward the promoting the RE right now. The first one was introduced back in 2011, which is the feed-in tariff, and until today, feed mechanism is offering more allocation for the development of bioenergy and hydro potentials. So it is followed by three other programs, which is net energy metering, large-scale solar, and also SELCO, which is a self-consumption. I would say that one program to another, they has their own uniqueness, and you can head to SEDA website for more information regarding these offerings. So moving on to the next perspective, which is energy efficiency. I would say since the past few years, we are already implemented quite a number of programs for these energy efficiency programs. The first one is a Green Pass certification. This is mainly to facilitate the development of the green buildings. And then we have a BEDOS system. BEDOS system is Energy Data Online System. This is actually a energy monitoring system where we can use this platform. When we use this platform, we are able to monitor our daily and monthly usage of energy in dealing with understanding on our consumption. And from there, we can take the necessary action towards reducing the carbon emission. The third one is Safe 2.0, which is the sustainable achieved via energy efficiency. This is a collaboration program with a Ministry of Finance. We have a positive outcome from this Safe 2.0, and this is a program promoting energy efficiency to get a rebate for purchase. If you want to purchase aircon or fridge, you can get a rebate of 200. You can get a rebate from this program. And also the last one, this is Energy Audit Conditional Grant, EACG. This is the grant that we provide for private sectors towards promoting and conducting the energy audit to assess their energy consumption at their premises. So this is it. And moving on to the next perspective, you can see that the low carbon cities. This is the facilitation program. SEDA Malaysia has played a key role as the key consultant in guiding the urban development towards low carbon cities. And finally, on training, I would say that with all of this initiative and programs, capacity development is always the key to ensure that the success of sustainable energy transition. So SEDA Malaysia plays a role in providing this capacity building platform and also training. These are the list of example of the list of the example provided by SEDA. Feel free to visit our website for more info on this training. So, in a nutshell, I would summarize this section. I would say that energy transition phase has been identified as one of the main economic recovery post-pandemic. So, towards realizing our future targets, which is 31% by 2025, we anticipate that the cumulative investment of 20 billion of Malaysian ringgit to be pumped up into the nation. And this transition will also open up more opportunities in terms of employment for about 30,000 numbers of job creation. So in line with other decarbonization agenda, Malaysia is expected that the RE growth in the energy mix will able to reduce the GHG emission in energy sector, particularly by 45% by 2035 compared to the base year of 2005. Okay, so way forward. What's next? So moving forward, we can see that photovoltaic has been more commercially available to many, including domestic users. And we anticipate, based on the industrial feedback, that there will be a new market and business model towards accelerating PV based resources. Currently, we are working on these regulated models, mainly on net energy metering and LSS, for example. But looking forward, there are the areas that we might be explored and embark in Malaysia renewable energy roadmap. For example, the corporate PPA, the P2P energy trading, and also the renewable energy certificate REC. And okay, moving on. Okay, looking at this value chains of our industry itself, I would say that this is a career opportunity that all can try to explore. With regards, for example, if you look at the sample of value chain for RE project, it is actually a vast career opportunities from the very beginning, which is from the consultancy phase up until the operation. But as we can see, this value chain for RE project is a linear economic model. So, but looking forward, we are pursuing for this what we call a circular economy model, where, for example, in Malaysia through MIDA, at the moment we already have two circular bioeconomy, which is the plastic circular economy, and also the second one is bioeconomic model. So these two circular economy are developed by Ellen MacArthur Foundation, which is globally and widely used as a guiding principle for circular economy. And in this case, mainly to support the growth of bioenergy sector. So when we are utilizing this circular bioeconomy, we can make sure that there are no wastage and there are no unused item. They are simply go to waste, but rather we can explore the potential of to recycle, repurpose, reduce, reuse, and even reproduce the used material for a byproduct that can be utilized for economic support, and not to mention stay in the circulation as long as possible. So as a way forward in Malaysia, also we have pursuing for this circular solar economy, uh, which is on your right side, and that been the circular solar economy that have been by our financial institution in particular to drive this circular economy for solar industry. So at the moment, if you look at the sample of circular solar economy, at the moment I would say that these are the 5 elements in the value chains and the solar economic. So looking at this change, the first until the third, the first, second, and third the production followed by the distribution and consumption. This is currently the sectors that are being explored under the solar economy. But moving forward, we are looking to explore to extend this potential for the fourth and the fifth sectors, which is to manage the end of life of assets. For example, for the I would say this example for solar panels, there have been the debate, and also they have become one of the key concern nowadays towards addressing what to be done and what with the use of solar panels after the decommissioning of the plant itself. So with the hope that when we apply the circular solar economy, the solar panel that for all this while tend to waste, maybe we can utilize the materials that compose the panels for a better purpose. So this is among the areas that we are currently exploring, and I would say that we are expecting that in the near future that more opportunities and career can be explored in this region. So with that, thank you so much. Thank you for your attention, and thank you so much. Back to you, Engineer Francis.
Thank you, Ms. Akmal, for the fantastic and insightful sharing. You talk about the role of SEDA and how our power sector is moving towards having more RE on board through the small renewable energy program, feed-in tariff, LSS, large-scale solar, NEM, net energy metering, and self-consumption. And you say that we have target of 21% by 2025 and 40% by 2035. We have mentioned some of the EE measures taken and how moving forward thinking in terms of the solar circular economy. Oh, that's very good. Okay, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, feel free to ask any question. You can post it on the chat group. Please also mention whom is it directed to. And now, since I've heard from all the three panelists, we shall move on to the discussion forum and tackle some of the questions from the audience. Let me invite Mr. Sazli and Mr. Michael to join me again on the screen.
Thank you, Francis.
Thank you,
Thank
Sazli
you.
and Michael. Okay, some questions from the participants. Question one, first question to Ahmad Sazli. Coal produces high carbon dioxide emissions. Most of the countries have stopped using coal. Do we plan to stop using it as a target for zero carbon by 2050? Mr. Sazli?
Well, thank you. Everybody is waiting that coal should be shelved totally. And I think as far as Malaysia is concerned, as you can see that according to government plan, by 2050, I think we are going to have a carbon neutral by 2050. So I think by then there will be no more coal power plant, I guess, because at the moment, by looking at the current plan until 2040, we still have about almost 30% of coal still be around. But if this plan 2050 came into reality, I think it's possible. I think the government will shelve the use of or will totally reduce our imports of coal in the future. I think, yeah, it's possible. Yes, I think so.
Okay. Sazli, we have one question from Muhammad Hafiz Jusuf, and also a very similar question from Mr. Jimmy. Is it possible to have solar system for strata property and high-rise residential buildings?
Yes, I think this is a very interesting question. If this can be done, I think the potential for rooftop would be even greater, because the only thing now there's companies already producing inverter technology that allow tenants to share the energy generated by solar on the rooftop of the apartments or condominiums. For me, this is great news, and I just came across this news just a couple of weeks ago, that there's companies already producing this inverter, this special inverter that allow the tenants to share. So what it means is that now that you can put solar on the rooftop of the apartment, and then can be shared. Otherwise, it can be done where you can interconnect the rooftop solar on the apartment, and then maybe you export to the TMB, and then TMB would give back the I would say the rebate, right? The rebate. So there are many ways of doing these things. Technically, is no problem, and now we have to generate a good business model. I think there are few companies already looking into this situation, where how you can put rooftop PV on the apartment or condominium, and benefiting all the tenants. Yes, it is possible technically, and even more now when you have these companies already develop a special inverters. Over to you, Francis.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's ask Mr. Michael a question. How does ESG, the environmental, social, corporate governance, that will help society in general?
Yes.
But how does it help the organization itself? How does it benefit the organization? This
Yeah.
practicing.
Okay. First, you look. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the question, this engineer Francis. So, okay, first you look at this. You look at the mega trend in the whole world. Everyone is looking at Everyone in the whole world is looking at this renewable recycling, right? So we minimize waste, etc., etc., etc. So through having solar on your organization, right, on your rooftop, you can eventually portray an image that you are part of that mega trend. So when you portray that image, eventually that you are going to attract more this new customer that is able to new customer to come to you, right? They'll pro your organization, you'll pro your products compared to your competitors' product. So because you have done something good for the world. So that's one thing. Number two is like what I mentioned just now, yeah, right? You are able to save this electricity bill. You bring down your electricity bill. That means directly you are actually bringing up your profit before tax, and hence your profit after tax. So therefore, that through more PBT and PAP that you're able to gain from the solar system, right? The distribution of dividends to your shareholders, eventually it will become more. So your shareholders could be more happy with you than ever, right? So this is how solar asset are able to benefit corporate company, right? Whereas for individuals, right? Let's say every month that you are paying, let's say 400 ringgit of this TNB bill, right? So now you only pay like 40 ringgit. So you save a total of 360 ringgit, which is 90% of your bill, right? Do you realize that directly or indirectly, your household purchase power increased by 360 ringgit a month, right? So at the bare minimum, right, the grocery has been done through there already, isn't it? So therefore, that this is how solar able to bring corporate image to the companies, at the same time lifestyle happiness to individuals and families. Thank you. Back to you, Engineer Francis.
Thank you, Michael, for the very clear sharing of how this tax governance will benefit the company itself, also individuals. Okay, now we have a question for Ms. Akmal. This is from
Yes.
Akaf. You said SEDA was looking into so way forward, looking into P2P, peer-to-peer, TPA, third-party access, even not mentioned even renewable energy certificates. Uh, SEDA was considered this. Can you elaborate a bit more on these business models?
Okay, thank you so much, Engineer Francis. This is quite a popular question for SEDA, actually. So, to answer that, I would say that SEDA Malaysia has already conducted and completed a P2P electricity trading pilot project, which is between November 2019 to June 2020. So, findings of this pilot project show that there was an important interest from solar PV industry, including the local government, to have P2P electricity trading implemented. So they have received a good number of participation in this regulatory sandbox. And for more details, you can get the full reports at our website. So basically, we can see that there are a lot of demand to go for P2P, TPA, and also REC. So just to be sure that Energy Commission, utilities, and also stakeholders are looking at this method as well. And at this moment, we are actually that we are already formulating or open up the strategies for the for, let's say, for the TPA since 2019. And but unfortunately, our grid system, which is a Malaysia grid system, are not really dedicated for RE. So it was developed in 1970s, 1980s, and it is mainly cater for the conventional plan. So by having this kind of P2P mechanism and TPA, it will actually liberalize the market, and also it requires a grid enhancement and also grid modification in order to cater for this system. And sometime I think it will incur the cost of operating of the grid. This is in terms of financial aspect. In terms of technical aspect, this will trigger the higher penetration of solar, and it might impact the dark curve phenomenon, and it might disrupt the reliability of the supply, I would say. So, but however, please be aware that currently we are really looking into this, and some challenges and some enablers have been being identified, and in which one of the things that might need to be firm is on the grid changes. So by utilizing the grid, that would be allow for willing buyer and willing seller arrangement. So it is actually on the table right now. So a lot of discussion has been made, and I would say that TPA or maybe REC and P2P particularly will be in the near market in the future. So that's it. Back to you, Engineer Francis.
Thank you, Ms. Akmal, for the good sharing of your views for the question. Okay, we have another, Mr. Jimmy, another question for Mr. Sazali. Instead of exporting to the distribution licensee or TNB, is it possible to share and enjoy this sale of solar PV energy to other residents as it's happening in other countries? What are your views on this?
Yeah, I think
Sazali?
thank you for Mr. Francis. I think Ms. Akmal just mentioned just now, the way to go is through peer-to-peer, where you allow access solar energy from your rooftop to be sold to your neighbor. So that's why everybody is really looking forward this P2P program to be as the extension of current NEM. Yeah? So I hope it will be a reality there. And yeah, I think that's the answer. Back to you, Mr. Francis, or maybe Michael want to add, or Ms. Akmal want to add.
Yeah, maybe I comment a little bit on this. Well, if let's say we can put up the system and then sell it to our neighborhood, you see, one of the good thing that I see is first we can actually reduce the grid burdens, right? You doesn't need to generate. Normally, generator is actually far away from the township, right? So you can reduce the burden, or you can reduce the burden of this current that flow through that grid line, right? You can avoid all those losses that necessary. Distributed generation, sell to your next door, right? The cable length is less than 10 meter away. Well, I guess that does a lot of benefit for the country and also for the individual financial gain as well. And also for the buyers, able to buy at a cheaper price, why not? Okay, back to you, Engineer Francis. This Engineer Francis.
Francis, can I just make one comment little bit regarding this Ms. Akmal just now mentioned about why the penetration of PV is limited is because of the dark curve. So I want to ask Ms. Akmal whether by utilizing battery storage, this dark curve phenomena can be avoided.
Oh, thank you so much. The battery storage question. I can see one of our guests asking about the battery storage as well. So is it viable at this moment? So as I mentioned just now, the RE capacity in Peninsular Malaysia particularly is projected to increase from the 4 gigawatt to the 10 gigawatt in the next 5 years. And as solar has the highest potential, Malaysia in our currently the ministry itself plan to introduce the 500 megawatt of battery energy storage system post 2030. This is what Ketsa said, made the comment, and this moment in time, I think it is more of the commercial viability addressing the battery energy storage. For honestly, my personal view, I think this is the battery storage could be a game changer. So technologically, will definitely will mitigate the storage issues. But the current concern is mainly on the commercial aspect itself. So I was mentioned that currently there's a pilot study to embark on the first project, which is the first utility scale of energy storage in Malaysia, and it is expected to be in 2023. To be in the system. So this will allow for more data gathering, data collection, and also the feasibility of the system, and to really understand the operation of the battery with respect to our current grid system. So for me, uh, I think if it's all good, then why not? So I guess it would be a great kickstart for the energy storage itself. Okay, Francis.
Okay, thank you, Akmal. Okay, but we have this question from Mr. Tony Cheng, also directed to you. Uh, how has SEDA contributed toward the Sustainable Development Goals
SDGs.
(SDGs)?
I
Yeah.
would say that with this energy transition, we are pushing for higher target of RE in its capacity mix. The ministry also emphasize that the Malaysia energy transition should be affordable one, and also in line with the sustainable goal number 7, which is to ensure the access to affordable and reliable, sustainable and modern energy for all. So I think that is one on the SDG number 7. But SEDA currently we are pursuing for I would say that 5 SDGs at this moment. uh, I will I will not sh- I will share. Wait. So basically, there are five SDGs that we are SEDA is apa see it as at this moment. Okay, back to you, Ayah Francis. Engineer Francis.
Seems like it's stuck.
Oh, I think there's a problem.
There's a problem with the
Okay,
line. Yeah.
okay, we can hear you now clearly. Okay,
Okay,
okay.
okay,
Hmm.
okay. That's it.
Okay, great. uh, okay, maybe this one last question. I mean, also again, Miss Akmal, this Renewable Energy Act, is it is it good? Is it can it govern the renewable energy registration installation currently in place and in the future? Is it capable of doing it?
Okay, on
Uh,
the
mm,
REX, we are actually in the midst of reviewing the REX. So I would say it is getting better. So
mm.
we are in the midst of reviewing and also enhancing the REX itself. So uh, in the near future, so you can check out the in the near future the new REX of 2011, where we made a great enhancement on the act itself.
That's very good.
Yeah,
Mm.
thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, uh, we have uh, we have now addressed how we can potentially monetize energy efficiency and renewable energy, and what are the support required from both the private and the public sector. Before we end this webinar session, can we have a panelist to give us one key takeaway for our audience in line with today's topic? Let's start with Mr. Sazali.
Thank you, Francis. My logo is let's change the world, use renewable energy. And when the sun shines, let it shine on everybody. That's it. Thank you. Back to you,
Wow,
Professor.
that is great. Very inspiring. Okay, Mr. Michael, over to you. One key takeaway for our audience.
Yep, sure, Engineer Francis. I will say that, right? Solar will lead the way. Will lead the way in transforming our country energy sector from the fossil to renewable. Thank you.
Great, Mr. Michael. Okay, Ms. Akmal, one key takeaway for our audience.
Okay, thank you so much for having us today. So I would say that while Malaysia is pushing for higher target of RE in its capacity mix, we have to take into account the energy trilemma and of course the cost and affordability of energy transition itself to the users, which is the rakyat. So and also we have to take into account the reliability and the sustainability of Malaysia energy system and how it will impact and at the same time the how it will impact the environment at the same time. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Akmal. Okay, with that, I would like to take this opportunity to say a big thank you to all our panelists, Mr. Ahmad Fazli, Mr. Michael Young, and Ms. Akmal Zaiti for sharing your thoughts and knowledge in this Power Talk. As a last note to our audience, congratulations on successfully staying together with us to the end of today's Engineer Power Talk. And we at Engineer are excited to welcome all suppliers and manufacturers to be on board in this business event so that we can rebuild our industry together. So, if you would like to discover how to be part of this business event or in this Power Talk series, our team has posted a link in the comment box. Do click on the link to schedule an appointment with our marketing team for further discussion. Please do join us at the upcoming Engineer Power Talk session. It's going to happen on 6th October at 3 p.m. The registration link is again posted in our comment section. And finally, do stay tuned for our next Power Talk session. Stay safe and take care. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so
Goodbye.
much.
Bye.
Right.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Engineer Power
Thank
Talks.
you. Okay.